Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so let's get back to the business of talking about things that matter in life besides ourselves. What happened in Gaza with the people with the from the Central World Kitchen was a tragedy, and it is accompanied with the tragedy of the other 45,000 people who've lost their lives in the genocide that Israel continues to engage in without as much as anyone shooting a bullet in their direction. Nobody in this world, or any of these big armies that want to, do this, that, and the third, want to do anything in regards to waging war against these people who are just obviously showing us they're trying to rival some of the worst that this world has ever seen. I think that's unfortunate in many ways. But now, as I once predicted, although I think this could be my prediction coming to pass, it could be something else. Israel finally killed the wrong people. And we talked about that back in January. Like, eventually Israel and their indiscriminate killing, they gonna mess around, kill the wrong person. It's gonna be somebody's son, or it's gonna be some underground mogul type person's nephew, something like that, and eventually they're going to have to face what comes with it, and that is a different type of energy than what it is that they're engaging in, or they've been receiving from the US, from Canada, from the UK. Nobody's really holding them accountable. Nobody that can actually mess with them. But the problem that Israel's run into in this particular situation is the Central World Kitchen is one of their allies who happen to decide to want to help Gaza in this situation. Allies that come to their aid as well. People who likely have invested in their country, as many have. And when you engage in the indiscriminate killing that they're engaging in, and have the philosophies about we will kill anything innocent to get to Palestine, Hamas is what they call it, you're going to have situations where that is going to hurt other aspects of what it is that you're trying to do diplomatically. And that was inevitable. They have philosophies about being willing to kill innocent people, sending messages to keep people away from trying to help Palestinians. They have this idea that they have the right to do this to people, and that idea is going to start messing with their money. And I keep telling them it's what it is. We saw this month coming. You cannot. Something has to give, is essentially what I'm saying. If you're going to have this idea where you're going to do this biblical thing, where you're going to wipe out these people and don't care about who's paying attention, and you already got everybody in your back pocket that you need to make sure that the funding keeps coming, you got everybody in your back pocket that you need to assure that they're going to continue to lie for you. They got everything they need, but what's betraying them, in my opinion, besides just the sheer nature of the evil they're doing, is the philosophy that it's okay to murder anyone who helps them, who they're trying to destroy, and having this arrogance and ego aligned with not being willing to accept that people will have a heart for that of whom they're torturing. These are poor people and children. You can't be so lost in your scope of how you view these people that you don't see that others won't view them the way you don't. That's what's betraying Israel right now. They can't see that the rest of us would see these people with a heart. They can't see, they don't understand that we see children, we see poor people, we see individuals who are all messed up in the game and gotta torture someone who's trying to torture them, continuing to bully their heads. So it's like when you have humanitarian people like Central World Kitchen, who that's their thing, is to help people who are in need, and it looks really good for them right now in the court of public opinion if they show up for this particular event, even if they're the darkest of the dark in regards to helping you. What it is they do is look good while everyone's watching. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to express this in such a way that makes sense. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but their whole point of view, this is where I actually turn for where I'm going, is to, we are humanitarians. We feed people. This is where one of the worst crises is happening, and everyone's watching what's happening over there. Let us get over there, be ourselves, and it's one more thing people could thank us for. Like, that's the business they're in, right? And that's one of your businesses. But because you got this idea, or because your military and your current government regime has this idea where if you help who we're trying to destroy, we're going to hurt you for doing so, that betrays the nature of your own business as it pertains to being in cahoots with this humanitarian company. So it's like, these are the type of things that get in the way of having allies, where otherwise you could rely upon those resources, rely upon those connections, rely upon the PR positivity image of coming and having people like this next to you. This is when those companies have to part ways with you, because you're betraying what allows them to look good, which is the only thing they really there to do, is to look good while we're watching. So it's like, this is what I was saying. Eventually, Israel's going to have to figure something out to where you're going to do this, but some of the philosophies in doing this, you have to betray, or you're going to end up hurting yourself on the back end. We've been saying this. We've been saying this for months. And this is when they couldn't shake it off. This is when the rubber met the road, and they chose to keep the biblical aspect of it, what they're trying to do, going, rather than to go with the business aspect of it, which is what gives them their power. They don't have power because God has ordained them the chosen people of God, and now they have some magical wizardry amongst the world that allows for them to be whoever they want to be. What gives them their power is the strength of their money and being able to be in business with 1 million different people and have a control over 1 million different governments, or have leverage over those governments, if not control. That's what makes them who they are. And so when you betray that to go on some holy mission, you're going to lose a lot, a whole lot. And this is where their arrogance and their intention on being on this holy mission, and what it means for them politically and imagery wise in regards to how they want to be seen historically, this is when it betrays them. They start really believing they have some ordained right from God to do this without having to be careful about how they go about doing it. And that's what I see there. There's a team of people who've allowed their arrogance to betray what makes them who they are from a strength and from a power standpoint. And so this is going to hurt them in many different ways, because while they're trying to posture themselves strategically to continue to be able to annihilate the Palestinians, what they're doing is deteriorating the few allies that they still have. Now people got to walk away from them because it's just bad for business. Just like we said it was 4 months ago. Everybody knows what they were doing. And I don't think most of the companies that were in cahoots with them really gave a damn at all. Because at the end of the day, the way the world looks at the Palestinian people, unfortunately, is no different than the way they look at my people. If you're not contributing, then you don't have any value. You could be discarded of. Now, they don't want us to know that as it pertains to when we're supposed to be too stupid to be able to perceive that. But that's exactly what it is. It comes down to contributors. That's why they feel for every Jewish life, they deserve to be able to take 1,000 Palestinian lives. It's because they've put themselves in such a position to where they control so much that if you take a Jewish life, it's going to hurt something within the structure of how this world is constructed. You know what I mean? Because that's how powerful and how strategically placed they've placed their people. You following me? It's about what you're producing and what you'll contribute to the earth is, as it pertains to keeping this capitalistic world spinning. So if you're not contributing, you don't really hold any value. You see what I'm saying? It ain't about all lives mattering. They actually don't, not as it pertains to how these things actually work. So if you're not contributing to the overall wealth of these different governments, then you're a discardable person. And if you really ain't worth nothing, regardless if you've been forced into that poverty or not, for which they forced the Palestinians into having no value in their system, then they could discard you for real. And that's exactly what's happening. That's why capitalism doesn't recognize the value of Palestinian lives, because Palestinian lives in this case do not contribute to the overall boom of capitalism. They're living in poverty. Their whole people are living in poverty. And so that's just the unfortunate truth that Israel set them up to be a part of. Understanding economics the way they do, and understanding the unspoken truth of what a value of a life truly is. And so, you know, it's a lot of what is wrong with the world that I'd love to see change. Obviously, we talk about it all the time. I don't feel this way about people's lives. I don't know what a child can do, you know what I mean? To see people of poverty come to be great contributors somehow, you know what I mean? So it's not a perfect science in any way. And those of us with a heart understand that. But this is not a heart system. What this is a system built upon capitalism and numbers. And what you contribute by way of what it is that it's measuring, or to what it is that it's measuring, basically determines how much support you will have from it for your preservation of life. So, yeah, man, it's an evil world, friends. We got to try to survive it. That's what I'm here to tell everybody. It's the evil world, and you got to try to survive it to the best of your ability. And they make it very hard on people by way of systematically forcing you to not having any value in the way that they may, depending on who you are. And a lot of times that has to do with skin color, religious practices, region, and a lot of times people who are part of various different religious practices, regions, and different things, they don't know the first thing, purposefully are hidden the information about what it is that ultimately this thing is run with. So you end up finding yourself confused about why things like this are allowed to happen and why people are acting like they don't care. It's because they don't. But it's not about care. It's about what they're measuring and what you represent in regards to it. That's why education is so important. Because what you can do is, if once you have the information, the education, not only do you have the ability to contribute, but you know your leverage in life. You won't allow people to sell you lies and misdirection so that you can stay behind the 8 ball in regards to this conversation. You too can matter. You understand what I'm saying? And as long as they can keep that information, keep you from reading, keep you from understanding, they can hold a lot over your head while you're confused. And so, yeah, man, Israel's biting itself in the backside with this particular situation, though. Killing those people in those cars, strategically killing 3 of them. I do believe, and I've said this already, I said this probably back in December, I do believe there are some people within Israel's organization who are posturing strongly. Some of them who are doing some of the bad things, they don't want to do them no more. So they're making mistakes. And so I think bombing 3 of those trucks all but confirmed that it was deliberate. And when you do that, what essentially you're doing is making it so that now your government has to answer for that. When they have to answer for that, they have to come up with why they did it, or why it was an accident, or why it was a rogue operation. If they have to express that it's a rogue operation, then that means that somebody lost control, and then that undermines their overall structure. This is why I think sometimes, man, as evil as this game is, when you talk about what it is that we're looking at, sometimes I genuinely think some sacrifices are being made so that this could stop, not continue. And that World Kitchen thing, my spidey senses are peaking up no different than when they shot bombs and they came back down and hit Israel. Do you remember that early on? Back when we were talking about that, maybe in November. And they said that those bombs really came from Hamas, but they were actually their very own bombs that they had shot up and then came back down and hit their own buildings. I think that was one of those deliberate mistakes. Dry snitches, so to speak. People want to, not do this anymore, but don't want to put themselves and their families in danger. Because remember, it's illegal not to do this for them. It's illegal not to join the IDF. It's illegal not to be a part of it. So a lot of these people who are crazy, warpath, animalistic soldiers in the IDF, they don't have a choice. Now, that's something you never lose sight of when you're looking at what's going on there. A lot of them don't have a choice. What they have to give up is not only going to put them in a position to have their lives messed up, but they could potentially lose people and their families, be targeted. So it's a lot to understand. And when I see what happened there, that made them look bad. And what they're trying to argue is that it was an accident. But what they've already stated was that they thought Hamas was in one of those rooms. Hello, friend. Hello. They thought Hamas was in one of those cars, rather. And in the case if that were the case, then why would they bomb 3 of them? You see what I'm saying? It's like something is not coming together about the image that they're trying to portray and the actions that they're trying to put forth. And that tells me that the people who are doing the talking are probably not the ones doing the button pressing. Something is not coming together. But anyway, that's what I got to say to people, man. I don't want anybody to think that I have some inside information or anything like that. I don't know nobody in the IDF. At least I hope I don't. But, honestly, I just speculate. But to me, this is all falling apart. Now, I got to figure out where the hell I'm going because I think I got off track. But I want people to know that I'm paying attention to this. And as a result of me paying attention to this as closely as I am, I'm getting the feeling that Israel has been having holes and leaks in what it is that they're doing in regards to their commands versus what it is that's being executed here and there. Not a lot, but just little subtleties. It's like, what the heck? So I don't know, man. Gotta figure out where the heck this Trader Joe's is. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.